Ciao friends! In this video, I want to show you how time intelligence functions work with the filter context, and to do that, I'm gonna create a measure that computes the year-to-date over time. And I will filter it using the weekdays. As you will see, this is gonna create some strange behavior we will need to understand and then fix it. Let's start from the beginning. I already created a calculation that computes the year-to-date, and you can see it here. Now, before diving deeper, let's look at the code. There is nothing strange about this code. It just calculates sales amount, and then we use dates YTD to create a YTD filter on the date table. And as it is now, the measure is working totally fine. I already have a report that is showing day by day. You see that the sales amount year to date simply grows from the beginning, and it will continue growing up to the end of the year. The problem appears if I activate the slicer on the weekday. What if I'm interested in computing a year-to-date of only Tuesdays? I can do that. I can filter Tuesday here, and look at what happens at the code. This is the sales amount. This is the sales amount year-to-date. It's no longer growing as I would expect it to. Indeed, it starts with 25, then 20, 38, 56, even though the individual values of sales amount are much smaller. The first thing that we need to understand is what is this number? What is the engine computing? Once we will have understood it, then fixing it is much simpler. In order to understand what is that number, I created another report which is not affected by this slicer. And again, I'm showing the values day by day. Now, let's start from the beginning. On the 8th of January, we have 20 millions. Where are my 20 millions in the regular year-to-date? If we look at it, this is the result of a regular YTD on the 8th of January. That's 20 million is the same number you have seen in the other place. So my measure is not computing a year-to-date for only Tuesday, it's just computing a year-to-date completely ignoring this filter. Then it is showing only Tuesday, but the calculation happens on the entire period. Why is this happening? That's a specific behavior of time intelligence functions. Let's look back at how my measure is defined. My sales amount year-to-date applies a filter using dates YTD over date. Now, dates YTD returns a table containing all the dates from the 1st of January to the last visible date in the current filter context. And that filter will work on the date column in the date table. If your date table is marked as a date table, or the relationship that links it to the sales table is a date-time column, then the DAX engine will automatically add an all to your calculation in order to get rid of all the filters. This behavior, that looks kind of strange, is in reality correct and expected, because it makes all the time intelligence calculations much simpler to author. But in cases like this one, where we want to keep some filters coming from slicers or other graphical entities, this behavior is breaking our code. Since we cannot disable this behavior, what we need to do is to recreate the filter that we want to keep active. Now, we had a filter on the weekday. We know that dates YTD will kill among all the filters, also the filter on the weekday. What we need to do is restore the filter on the weekday. So in order to fix the code, what we need to do is let dates YTD do its job. So dates YTD will remove the filter, and we will use the values function to restore the filter on the date weekday. As soon as I do this modification, you see that my code now works as expected. Sales amount has 2.5, 2.4, and sales amount YTD is 2.5496676. It grows exactly as expected. Of course, this measure works for this specific report, because in the code what you need to do is to declare the filters that you want to keep. So it's very hard to create a calculation that will work for any report. Likely it is not so common to have the requirement to compute a year-to-date for only specific dates. But if that is one of the requirements you have, now you know how to solve the problem. Enjoy DAX!